Hello and welcome to the first video on yoga therapy for back hair. We begin the practice today in constructive rest. So here you may wish to place a bolster under the knees if you have one, or you can place a block between the thighs and perhaps a looped strap that goes around the thighs, and then gently lowering down towards the ground. And I invite you to set up here for a stretch line by coming up on the elbows and the forearms, gently tucking the chin under, rooting the feet into the earth, and drawing the tailbone down towards the heels of the feet. This is great here for lengthening the lower back. And coming back down to the earth, resting the head on a head support if that feels great for you. You can also intertwine the fingers here, placing them under the head, allowing the head to rest heavy into the hands. Equal and opposite pressure with the head into the hands and the hands into the heads. Releasing the hands here, either placing the hands down next to your body, or you may choose to place the hands on your rib cage. You choose whatever feels best for you. You may choose to keep the eyes closed here. Begin to invite the breath in here through the nostrils, and perhaps releasing the breath out through the mouth. Again, inhaling through the nostrils, and maybe on an exhale with a sigh out of the mouth. One more breath just like that, in through the nose and out with a sigh. Noticing if there is any area of your body where you are holding on to tension that perhaps needs some release. Perhaps your shoulders. Perhaps you wish to move the shoulders away from the ears, releasing some of the weight of the word. And we now begin to invite the breath in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. If you're keeping your hands on the ribs here, you may feel the rib cage expand, widen on an inhale, while the ribs gather together, draw back to center on an exhale. Feeling that full diaphragmatic breath. The quality of widening, opening, and expansion on an inhale. And a gentle drawing back to center on an exhale. We'll now begin to set an intention for the practice today, and this is known as a sankalpa. So begin thinking of something you wish to cultivate for the practice today. Perhaps you wish to invite more relaxation into your body, perhaps releasing something out of your mind. Or maybe you wish to invite some self-compassion for something that you are going through at this time. Whatever your intention for your practice today is, begin seeing that intention in your mind's eye. And on an exhale, we're releasing the breath fully, creating space. Inhaling, drawing that sankalpa through. And on exhale, fully releasing, creating space. Inhaling, drawing that elbow through again. And on the next exhale, releasing and letting go. With our Sankalpa set, we may now begin to explore some gentle movement, perhaps wiggling the fingers, maybe wiggling the toes, perhaps moving your head from side to side. And if you have a strap around your thighs and bolster between the thighs, you may remove those props now. And I invite you now to lengthen into a full body stretch. So really drawing the arms over the head here. You may also choose to interlace the arms, either drawing the hands up towards the sky or over the head, and perhaps pointing the heels towards the back side of the mat. This is really great for lengthening the whole spine. And maybe you wish to explore here some lateral stretches by moving the upper body over towards one side, and maybe the legs will follow as well. Perhaps crisscrossing one foot over an ankle if that feels good. Taking a breath here and then coming back to center. And moving the upper body towards the opposite side. Perhaps the legs follow, maybe the ankle crisscross over the foot. And then coming back to center. And after these lateral stretches and full body stretch, it may feel good to bend your knees, drawing them in towards the chest, perhaps giving yourself a little cuddle here. Maybe moving the knees in little gentle circles, perhaps moving with the breath here. On an inhale, drawing one way, and exhale, drawing the knees the opposite way. You can do this a few times here, choosing to move at your own pace with your own breath, and knowing that you always have the option here in this practice. You choose what feels safe, comfortable, and pleasurable for your body. And I invite you now to place the feet down next to the buttocks, and joining me, if this feels comfortable, in a little back bend here. So placing the hand here on the creases of the hips, and on an inhale, gently pressing the pelvis up, and on the next exhale, feeling the hands pressing into the hip creases with equal and opposite pressure. This is great for releasing the sacroiliac joint as well as for arthritis. Inhaling here again, and on an exhale we may choose to once again pressing the hands and the hips in towards each other with equal and opposite pressure. Again, inhale, and once again exploring that equal and opposite pressure. Now on the next exhale, I invite you to release the buttocks back down to the earth. And it may feel good here to take some movement, perhaps lifting the legs and the arms up towards the sky, maybe giving the hands and the toes and the whole feet a little wiggle, moving in any way that feels comfortable for you here. Before we coming back down to the ground here with bent legs. And the next movement here, I invite you to take your half inflated Pilates ball, or also what we call as a slow-mo ball, and we place it under the pelvis. So coming up here on the slow-mo ball, and I invite you now to gently begin exploring some gentle pelvic tilts here. So on an inhale, we arch the back, moving the shoulders away from the ears, and on an exhale, tucking the tailbone under. So keep moving here with your own breath. Just moving slowly and gently, slow, gentle movements with soft breath. This movement here is great for lubricating the spinal discs. And I invite you now to join me in a few options of movements on the slow-mo ball. And remember here that you are in charge of your body. You choose whatever movement feels safe, comfortable, and pleasurable for you. At any time you can go back to any of the previous movements that we did, or stay in any movement for as long as you wish. And the invitation here is to begin moving the hips in hip circles. So perhaps on an inhale, drawing the hips up towards one side. Exhale, drawing the hips down. And inhale towards the opposite side. Moving in slow, gentle half circles here. You may even wish to explore moving in full hip circles if that feels comfortable to your body today. Knowing that it's very common to feel different from week to week, even from day to day, and really honoring what your body wants in this moment. So taking the hip circles to the opposite direction, if you've chosen to move in full hip circles. And here I invite you to now lift one of the legs up into the sky. And perhaps begin drawing little circles in one direction with a foot. And it can really help here to stay rooted with the hands, and perhaps also rooting in with the foot into the ground. This can really help with stability. So moving the circles in one direction, perhaps in the opposite direction, maybe even drawing larger circles or infinity symbols, figure 8. And if this feels really great, you could also choose to perhaps lower that leg closer down to the ground on an inhale, and then on an exhale with a shh, drawing the leg back up. So inhaling, lengthening down, and exhale on a shh, drawing the leg back. It's a good idea to keep a little micro bend here in the knee. And this movement here is also great for the deep core stability. So really engaging those deep core muscles, which are really helpful for lower back support. And when this movement is complete on one leg, taking the movement to the opposite leg by lifting the leg up, drawing little circles in the sky, rooting in with the hands and the foot into the ground here, perhaps exploring some larger circles, maybe even drawing the infinity sign, whatever feels good for you. And then again, perhaps choosing here if this feels good in your lower back, and there's no tension in low back, you can also choose here to, on an inhale, draw the leg down, and exhale, shh, lifting the leg up. Inhale, down, and shh, up. This is also really good for the stability of the pelvic floor. So both the engagement of the deep core muscles here as well as the pelvic floor. Only moving this way here if there's no tension in your lower back. And then when this movement is complete, come back to center and really feel how this movement felt in your body. Taking that time for interoception is so important, to really tune into what your body is telling you in any moment. Thank you so much for joining me here in this first part of the yoga therapy for back care. Namaste.